Hi everyone, peace be upon you. My name is Amal. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, let's speak a little bit about death. Every soul will taste death, and to us, you will return. I believe there is a lot of stigma around it. There is a lot of fear. There is a lot of, anxiety. There is a lot of just rejection of the idea of death or forgetting the fact that we all gonna die someday. And not only us, but our loved ones too. We actually kind of forgot that death and how we can prepare for it is the main core teachings of every religion, every spiritual teaching. To prepare for death is to remember how we can truly live. Recently, my father passed away, and it's very sad. I feel very sad. My heart is in so much pain, but I feel also at peace. I feel like at ease knowing that my father prepared for this moment because he was a religious man, a devotee. He knew that he's gonna face this moment, and he faced it with a smile. So I'm at ease and at peace, and knowing this fact makes me process this whole thing in a more peaceful way. I mainly wanted to create this video for anyone who is struggling or kind of suffering with the loss of loved one. I know it's not easy. I know it's hard and it's painful and it's heartbreaking, but there are ways that will help us to accept this thing when we change our perspective, when we change how we can perceive death. The way I see it is, to me, death is not the end of something. It is only the beginning. Death is not something that will make us disappear, that will make our loved one disappear. It's a portal that will help us to transition to another life, another realm. In Islam, we call it barzakh. And this barzakh is it's kind of like a realm where dead people transition to until we face the judgment day and everyone resurrect and this whole scene of al-qiyamah or the judgment day happens. But the main topic in this video is how we can prepare for such a moment, and how we can accept, and how we can allow, and how we can really grieve and heal from this loss. What appears as a loss, it's actually a transition. What feels like separation, it's a liberation. These words been echoing inside of my mind the moment I knew my dad passed away. When I received the news, I was like, this is not a loss, it's a transition. This is not separation, it is liberation. These words been echoing inside of my mind, repeating themselves over and over again without me even trying. It's just it was a spontaneous flow, a frequency of acceptance. This is how I was spontaneously, without effort, without trying, alchemizing the pain. This is not a loss, it's a transition. This is not separation, it is liberation. And to prepare for this moment is to truly remember how we can live in this life. And to live, to me, living in this life sums up in these two questions that we must contemplate upon. If it's not here, then where? If it's not now, then when? When my father passed away, I felt it so deeply. Time and place no longer existed, they dissolved completely. I felt like I was experiencing another ego death. You know, death is not only physical, death is there is a spiritual death, there is emotional death. Spiritual death can sometimes be expressed as ego death. Emotional death can be expressed through breakups or heartbreaks. Physical death is when the body expires, return to earth, and the soul returns to original source. So when my dad passed away, I felt like I was experiencing an ego death, a spiritual kind of death. Everything kind of dissolved. And it's very interesting because my first experience with ego death, it was very shattering. It felt like things were so dense and so dry that they shattered. But with this one, I felt like things are dissolving. Reality is being dissolved because because of the things that I've been doing, of the practices that helped me to let go. It felt like I was rehearsing. It was just a rehearsal for me to constantly try to release and to let go through effort, through choice, through my personal will. But when my father passed away, it was no choice and effort and personal will no longer existed. It all dissolved, and it was teaching me how to surrender. God, the divine, Allah, was teaching me how to surrender, not through choice, not by effort, not by my personal will, but by purely by this divine force. There is this divine, subtle yet powerful force that really push you to surrender and prostrate to something that is bigger than all of us. And that surrendering allow us and help us to accept the fact that this is not a loss, it is a transition. This is not separation, it is liberation. This surrendered state teaches us how we can help our loved one to pass through this journey with ease and peace, to die peacefully without us clinging into them, without us attaching ourselves to them. When we understand that the connection will always be there, the connection goes beyond this physical body, the connection is still here and now. We can still pray for them, we can still talk to them, we can still communicate with them, but sometimes we're so dense, we don't feel it, we don't sense it, we don't see it. But when we are more delicate, when we are more subtle, when we are more here and now, we can feel how our loved ones that passed away are communicating with us too. When my grandmother passed away, I was praying for her every night. And one night I prayed for her and I went to sleep, and I had a dream about her thanking me and kissing me for praying for her, like she received my prayers. And at that moment, this is a long time ago, like 3 years ago maybe, at that moment I had this like almost certainty that our loved ones that transitioned into a different realms, we can still communicate with them, we can still gift them, we can still give charity in their name, and they can still receive it. So the connection did not disappear, the connection is still strong and here. We just need to be subtle to see it. And this process of losing a loved one, even though I don't think it's a loss, it's a transition. Let's focus on that and let's emphasize it and affirm it. It is true. It is true. It is true. I am a believer and I believe that death, it's only a portal that help us to transition into a different realm. It's not the end. It's not the end of us, and it's not the end of our loved one. Our connection is deeper than this physical reality, especially with your parents, because losing a parent is not easy. It's actually hard. They are the first people that you get to see when you open your eyes into this life. They are the first voice you hear, the first skin you touch. They are your first teachers. They are your first lovers, your first heartbreak, your first wound, your first trauma. So it is basically your first relationship ever. So losing a parent is not easy. But as long as you walk with God, as long as you walk with faith, not with fear, understanding this is not a loss. This is not a loss. It is a transition. Everyone gonna experience it. We cannot escape it. And it's very it's to me it's an expression of compassion. Sometimes we see death as something that is scary, something that we must fear, something that we must avoid, something that we must escape. But in reality, it is something that we must face, something that we must accept, something that we must allow. So, allowing death is not through fearing it, but through allowing ourselves to truly live. And how we can truly live is to love so deeply, is to be in service, to serve sincerely, it's to do things wholeheartedly. It is to remember how we can love our parents, how we can forgive them, how we can ask for their forgiveness. It's about serving the people that we love. It's about giving an abundant way without, holding on. It's about deeply connecting without attaching, so we can understand how we can let go when it's time to let go. So to live is to remember how we can love each other and remember how we can heal. The biggest thing that will help us to prepare for that is to heal. Heal, 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 heal. Heal your traumas, heal your wounds, heal your heart, heal your mind, heal your body, because your healing is not only for yourself, it is for your parents, it is for your loved ones, it is for your friends. It's not only you that's gonna heal when you heal. When you initiate this process of healing, you're healing your ancestors, you're healing the upcoming generations, you're healing the collective, you're healing the whole universe with you, because the whole universe exists within you. So the most important thing that help us to prepare for such a moment is to heal. Heal yourself truly and completely. Don't heal from an egoic place, but heal from a heartful space. When we heal, we understand how we can truly forgive, how we can understand how, you know, our parents did their best. The people that we met and they hurt us, they didn't know better. Our friends that betrayed us, they only betrayed themselves. There is a type of healing that comes from acceptance. And to me, the most important practice that we must, exercise over and over and over again is absolute acceptance. And by acceptance, I don't mean approval. How I can explain this process of healing that requires absolute acceptance is to understand that when we accept something, we don't necessarily approve of it. When we accept the injustice that is going on in this world, in this life, in this reality, doesn't mean that I approve approve of it. I mean that I accept that it exists. It is happening. It doesn't mean that I approve of it. It doesn't mean that I encourage it. It doesn't mean that I participate in it. Acceptance only create a portal, an opening inside of you that help you to flow, that help you to change, that help you to heal in the most spontaneous way possible. So in the process of healing, in the process of grieving, we must understand how we can accept what happened, that we don't have control over it. And we do, to a certain extent. We do. We have the power. We have the ability to change. We have that. It's not like we don't have the ability to control, but to a certain extent. And when you reach that extent, you don't have a choice. You don't have control. You don't have a personal will anymore. It's only the divine that works through you, to you, by you, for you. So in the moment of death, which is something that will teach us how to surrender, it's not something that we can control. It's not something that we can manipulate with our mind. It's not something that we can avoid or escape. Yes, we can transcend through spiritual practices, but we cannot control it. It's unknown. It's completely unknown. But I do believe that the believers, the ones that walks with faith, not with fear, know when it will happen. They have a feeling when death arrives. All the stories that you're gonna listen to will teaches you that everyone who felt like they're gonna die somehow, some way, they felt it deeply inside of their heart and they prepared for it. So the main thing that will help us to heal when we lose someone is, or when we experience death, is to accept. Acceptance is very important. And part of preparing for death, as I said before, it's to remember how we can truly live. Remembrance here is the key word. When my father passed away, everything felt like a memory. I don't know how I can explain it, but everything feels like a memory. Even now, it feels like a memory. And this memory is inside of a divine mind that is in motion and in movement. And this memory is constantly unraveling and unfolding. That's why we call it remembrance. That's why when we become awakened, we start to remember, because it's something so ancient hidden within us, or we are hidden within it. It felt like, I don't know how to even describe this feeling, but I felt so ancient, like I was here since the beginning of time, that I've seen everything, that everything is just dissolving right in front of my eyes. But there is a sense of peace. This ache and this pain and this sadness doesn't cripple me or doesn't make me descend into depression. The sadness is very peaceful kind of sadness. It's a deep knowing inside of my heart that this is not a loss. It is a transition. This is not separation. It is liberation. So, and it's all just a memory unraveling and unfolding in this divine mind, in this divine play. And the memory of my father is still unraveling and unfolding. And I feel like I'm learning a lot. I'm accepting. I'm starting to understand this whole thing. Yet I don't know anything. I don't know what is happening, you know? It's like a paradox where I know I have a knowing in my heart, but I have nothing in my mind. I don't have knowledge in my mind, I have knowledge in my heart, I feel it, I recognize it, I allow it, I accept it, I release it, I surrender to it, but my mind cannot grasp or intellectualize any of this reality. It feels like a dream. It is a dream. I feel every year it feels like I'm getting awakened by God from another dream. It's all just a dream. It's all just a memory. And it all makes sense to me, but in reality it doesn't make sense. But there is a divine force that pushes you to surrender. Without surrendering, you cannot really accept what happens, and you must accept what happens. You must accept that sometimes we have to say goodbye. But when the connection is deeper than this physical reality, it's not about saying goodbye. It's about, you're still here, you're still with me, you're still alive inside of me. You only transitioned. So seeing death from such a perspective help us to heal, help us to accept it, help us to see it as a portal and as an opening that help us to transition, that will help us to return. Eventually we will all return to the original source. What is the original source? It is the point of this whole existence. And what is the point of this whole existence? To me, I believe it's God. It's Allah. Without God, I don't know where I will be. I don't know how I will act or how I can process all these things. I don't know if I could even accept what happened. But with God, even the hardest thing becomes easy. There is a verse in the Quran I truly love. It was repeated twice, not only once, but it goes like inna ma'al usri yusra, inna ma'al usri yusra. With hardship there is ease, with hardship there is ease. With every contraction there is expansion. This is a divine law, a spiritual principle. Even when it feels hard, even when it feels painful, even when it feels rough, after such a contraction there is expansion. After such a hardship there is ease and there is peace. And knowing that puts you in a different state of consciousness. It allows you to surrender. It allows you to accept. It allows you to remember that, I know for a fact that my father is in a better place because he suffered and struggled so much. And I know that his transition was peaceful. And this is why I believe now death is one of the most ultimate acts of compassion and of love, this divine love. Divine love is not always expressed by, receiving blessings. It can be expressed through death, through annihilation, through loss, through hardship, through all of these things, because these things are the things that will refine you, align you, and perfect you into this a true version of yourself. It is a way to return to that true self. So I don't know. To me, this video, I didn't plan for it. It was just a spontaneous thing that I wanted to do, and I wanted to do it mainly because I know a lot of people are actually dealing with the loss of loved ones. And I've seen people around me struggling with, dealing with it. So I wanted to create this video, and I pray that anyone who is, struggling with that pain can watch this video and feel relieved and remember how it is not loss, it is a transition, it is not separation, it is liberation. I hope these words echoed inside of your mind and you remember. You remember, and you remember that the connection is not lost. The connection is still here. It's still now. You can still connect with your loved ones, even if their bodies are buried in the earth. You still can connect with them through prayers, through charity, through doing things in their name and gifting them that, energy, through sending them healing. So yes, this is mainly why I wanted to do this video. I really just pray that whoever is facing such a thing, because a lot of, to me, this 2025, it's all about death for some reason. A lot of souls are being liberated. So yeah, I hope this helped you. It's kind of all over the place, but I just wanted to be spontaneous. I didn't want to think much about it. I wanted to speak from the heart to the heart, and that's it. Peace be upon you.